county government to develop a national urban transport policy whose objective is to enhance the capability of urban areas to plan, finance and implement programs, projects, and measures designed to fulfill the mobility needs of people and businesses in a sustainable manner. In particular, the UN or the National Urban Transport Policy is to promote multimodal urban transport and land use planning to enhance the development of integrated mass rapid transit system and non-motorized transport mission in urban areas. We're also establishing institutions with enhanced mandate and resources to focus on environmental protection and enhancement. For example, we have strengthened our policy framework to test for and monitor vehicle emissions more effectively with the NTSA system. The National Urban Transport Policy will be more focused on emission, vehicle emission monitoring. Improving climate resilience of transport infrastructure services by introducing regulation for climate risk assessment as mandatory parts of strategic environmental and social assessment regulations for transport policies and programs, and environmental and social impact assessment regulations for all projects is one of the things we are also focusing on. Planning to establish a well-resourced climate change coordination unit to coordinate adoption and mitigation activities in the sector and ensure annual reporting on performance of climate action. And therefore, we'll be working closely to work on the dissemination agenda. Providing the regulatory framework and appropriate fiscal policies to promote energy efficient and low emission freight transport, including shifting long distance freight from road to rail. The day before yesterday, I was working and trying to understand as the new minister. I'm about 2 months old in office now, and seeing how can we use more of the rail transport to move people to work. And from one of the lines that I witnessed and commissioned some of the stations on Wednesday, from Ruiru, coming all the way to, that is the Nairobi line, we move about 5,000 people with one wagon and of course several cars. Whereas if you are moving that by matatu, you can imagine to move 5,000 people. And that is done between 6:45 in the morning, and by 8 o'clock they are all at the railway station, and we return them back home in the evening. Those are some of the things we are doing to really consolidate and ensure that we shift more to really rail, moving cargo, moving using more huger, bigger, and of course rail systems so that we can remove and decongest the city and reduce pollution and so on and so forth. Also pursuing innovative technologies in the field of environmental conservation and use of alternative materials with less carbon footprints in transport infrastructure and construction. Developing capacity in terms of personnel and technology to support production and deployment of renewable fuels such as nitrogen, such as biofuels or green hydrogen technologies which are already working in Kenya. In fact, there is a plant on green hydrogen which is already running within Oserian Flowers, and I know Kenyan is doing a lot of work in this space. We are also working on forging closer cooperation with industry. So the Nation Group, you are not alone. Let's build partnerships to work together, and the rest of the industry and international organizations to ensure that up-to-date information on climate change impacts and adaptation measures for transport is available, widely disseminated and taken into account by policymakers, transportation planners, and engineers, so that we have an ecosystem that is conscious all the time of climate change, sustainability, as we build to develop our cities develop our ecosystem. Let's work together with readily available information so that we can work together in this space. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, I would like to reaffirm my ministry's commitment to working with all key stakeholders in the climate change space to the development of resilient transport infrastructure and services for a shared future where all Kenyans can thrive in a sustainable and inclusive environment. Allow me also to basically touch on the simple things that we can do together as Kenyans, planting a tree to address sustainability. Trees are good carbon sinks because of the biology of how a tree breathes. And therefore, in my ministry today, under the presidential program, as part of achieving the 15 billion afforestation program to raise the forest cover to a high percentage of, we are working on what, close to 15%. My ministry has been allocated to plant 3.7 million trees every year. And how do we achieve these targets? We sit as a ministry with the various, with my two state departments, with the various agencies, and share out these 3.7 billion trees. And depending on capacity of every state agency, we have adopted a forest mangrove planting in Dogokundu. We have also been allocated in Homa Bay, Rangwe, Gembe, and Kwasi wetlands. And so we share out in those ecosystems with the enterprises, those 3.7, and ensure that the ministry goes out to inspect and ensure that we are meeting our targets once every month. I'm out with the whole, but we build programs also with our community-based organizations in those areas to be able to support the tree planting, tree growing, so much to say, including ensuring that those trees do mature. And therefore, there's so much that we can do together in supporting our climate, supporting our environment, and truly making our ecosystem sustainable to give us the comfort that we need. Because, you know, Mother Nature can be harsh. When you see a landslide, the kind of things you see in Moranga, what I just mentioned of Kejabe rolling down and carrying. In fact, today, the railway line to Western Kenya is still closed because we have not managed to fully rehabilitate the wash-off and so on and so forth. You'll also recall the preservation that the government went out of its way, including the president making a pronouncement to preserve a tree in Westlands, that Mugumo tree as you enter the expressway, or the Marabu stockbirds preservation in Nyayo Stadium, where the expressway again had to be. So there's so much that we can do together to be able to address the ecosystem of sustainability of our climate. So Nation Group, again, through this program, Earthwise, on equity, innovation, resilience, in the face of climate change, the Wise and the North, let's work together. We are available to cooperate. And as a Ministry of Roads and Transport, you have my commitment. I can be a true partner in this space to ensure that we all achieve this sustainability program. Thank you very much. Asanteni.
I don't know if you can